One more great friend of mine, I'm lucky to have a lot of friends. Who does King Charles really love? After hearing what he said most recently at age 76, you won't be able to say anything. Everyone has been guessing for decades about his favorite women. Who was it? Who was it? His first love, his long-term partner, or someone else? But when the king did speak, what he said shocked everyone. Who did King Charles say he loved most? The truth will shock you. Wait a minute, because we're about to share his honest answer, how Diana began her career. Not true. A lot of people think that Camilla or Diana was his first famous girlfriend. She did the most work on hers, though. Prince Charles thought about Diana's first meeting with him all the time. It was a bright day in Althorp, where she lives with her family. The air smelled like fresh dirt that had just been tilled. Diana stood out in the fields, and when the guests were talking, she was young, lively, and hard to forget. She was only 16 years old, while Charles was 29. Even though they were very different ages, there was still a spark. At the time, Charles was seeing Diana's older sister, Sarah Spencer. Not everything went as planned. When he went to Althorp for her shooting party, he liked Diana, even though Sarah was his date. There was something so friendly and calm about her. Charles approached her and asked to see her art collection because he was interested. Diana thought it was important, even though it was nothing big. It was the beginning of something they both didn't see coming. It wasn't easy to understand their story, though. After that meeting, Charles kept seeing Sarah. A picture of them skiing together in Switzerland made it look like he didn't love Diana. It looked like they would never love each other. Everything changed all of a sudden. In a talk show, Sarah said she had never really liked Charles and had no plans to marry him. They broke up after that, which made room for Diana without meaning to. After a while, they didn't see each other again. At his 30th birthday party, no one said much. Then it happened again one night. Philip Diaz, a friend of both of them, put together a party where they met. Charles learned that night that his great-uncle, Lord Louis Mountbatten, had been killed in an IRA attack. The loss broke him. Her kind heart made her want to comfort him when she saw how much he hurt. She reached out, said nice things, and showed that she got it. She was no longer just a pretty girl to Charles after that. He saw her as someone who cared. That night, everything changed. It was the start of something real and deep. Diana wanted to be there for him so badly that she missed the problems that were going to happen. Was it love? That was just the beginning of their trip. The easy fairy tale that wasn't so easy. Their love story went like a dream. As always, Prince Charles was a gentleman. He asked Diana to visit the beautiful Balmoral estate in Scotland and taught her how to fish as a way to welcome her into his life. He did it to show her how much he loved her. Their bond grew stronger over time, and soon everyone wanted to be with them. Then the moment everyone had been waiting for came. On February 24th, 1981, they got married. The wedding was set to happen between Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer. During an interview at Buckingham Palace, Diana was so happy that she said Charles was pretty amazing. Charles smiled and told her how happy he was that she said yes to his proposal. But there was something in his eyes that made me think of something that wasn't said. Charles had a good plan for everything. To ask her to marry him, he planned a fancy dinner for the two of them at Buckingham Palace. He set up Diana's trip to Australia so she could have some time to think. She told him she didn't need time, which surprised him. She said yes right away, as she could not stay in her nice Kensington flat any longer. She was all set to move into Clarence House, which would be her new home until the wedding. All over the world, Diana's beauty, her style, and of course, her engagement ring, a beautiful 12-carat Sri Lankan blue sapphire set in a circle of diamonds, made her a star. No other queen would have made that choice, but it was hers and hers alone. The ring was based on a pin that Queen Victoria received from Prince Albert in 1840. This added a lovely bit of history, but all of that changed when something unexpected happened. Someone asked them if they were in love while they talked about getting married. The first thing Diana said was, of course. But Charles wasn't sure what to say. After she asked, he said whatever love means, that would stay with him for a long time. Diana smiled, but she must have been feeling different inside. Had she missed a sign? When Andrew Morton wrote Diana her true story, In her own words, in 1992, it was shocking because it told the truth many years after the fact. Diana wasn't sure if she wanted to get married. As the wedding day got closer, it was hard to forget about those fears. Then, not long before the wedding, she found a bracelet for Camilla Parker Bowles instead of herself. The band that was meant for Charles's ex-girlfriend got given to Diana instead, which made her very angry. She felt hurt, mad, and lost about everything. She wanted to leave the wedding and not go, but her sisters wouldn't let her. They told her she couldn't back out now, that everyone was looking at her, the invitations had been sent, and the dress was ready. She didn't care about her fears. She walked down the aisle anyway. But what if she hadn't? What if Diana had listened to the voice inside her that told her to run? What would have happened if things were different? Was there another way she could have been truly happy? The story of Princess Diana's fairy tale wedding. As her wedding day got near, Diana felt a lot of different emotions. The night before the big day, she had a great time at Clarence House with her sisters. It was a happy time for her. There was a beautiful signet ring from Buckingham Palace with his Prince of Wales feathers carved into it. It shocked her. She believed the night was truly lovely. It came with a note from the heart that was full of love and hope for their future together. July 29th, 1981, the world came to an end. A record 74 million people watched the wedding at St. Paul's Cathedral in London from all over the world, about 750 million people. In 300 years, this was the first time in history that a British woman married the future king. History was being made. A lot of money was spent on the wedding, $48 million, 0 cents. But Diana was the real star that day. There were more than 10,000 pearls on the beautiful white silk dress that was sewn together by hand. It was really nice. It was the Spencer necklace that her sisters had worn before her. It was on top of her head. As she walked down the aisle, she looked like she was overjoyed. Before the wedding, Diana got around 3,000 gifts from people all over the world. It was President and Mrs. Reagan who gave them an Art Deco clock, and the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia gave them a beautiful set of diamond and sapphire jewelry. Even the best fairy tales are more interesting when things happen between the characters. Diana said her vows, but she called Charles Prince Philip Charles instead of Charles Philip Arthur George. Charles also stumbled and said, "thy goods" instead of "my worldly goods. But the worst thing he did was forget to kiss his bride at the altar. They kissed on the balcony of Buckingham Palace, which made the 600,000 people outside happy and made the whole world gasp. After the wedding, they had a wonderful honeymoon. The royal boat Britannia took them to beautiful places like Egypt and the Greek islands for 12 days of magic. After their cruise, they went to Balmoral Castle in Scotland and stayed in the cozy hunting house in the middle of nowhere. Diana wrote her maid a letter after the break to say that everything went well. She was a great princess when she went back to her home country. One of the first big events she did was open Parliament as head of state. She began a new part of her life. It seemed like a fairy tale come true to everyone. Diana's time as a princess was just beginning, though. Her life seemed like a fairy tale from the outside. But when she learned she was going to have her first child, she had a hard time being away from the court. The world was happy, but Diana felt lost and wasn't sure if she could do what she needed to do. She made a bad choice because she was so stressed out. While she was pregnant, she threw herself down the stairs. She and her baby were lucky not to be hurt. After that, on June 21, 1982, she and Prince Charles had their son, Prince William. It was a good day. Diana did not give birth in one of the normal royal places. Instead, she gave birth in the Lindo wing of St. Mary's Hospital. Even stranger was the fact that Charles was in the room where the baby was being born. It doesn't happen often for royal dads to do that. Princess Diana and the hospital staff carefully planned when William would be born so that Charles could be there for the big event. William made them happy, even though their marriage was having trouble. She made it clear to Charles that she was grateful to have him by her side. It looked like their love could start over for a moment. People were once again very happy when Diana got pregnant again. On the inside, though, their marriage was falling apart. Things between them got worse as her pregnancy went on. As soon as they learned they were having another son, Charles was very upset. He had secretly hoped for a girl, who could one day be queen. Still, another good thing happened. Prince Harry was born on September 15, 1984, but it didn't last. Their marriage was already weak, so something was wrong with it. Camilla Parker Bowles and Charles started dating again, which made Diana feel bad and broke her trust. After the fact, she said the worst day of her life was when she found out he had lied to her. There was something brave she did in 1989 to keep her marriage together. She talked to Camilla face to face at a party. She was brave to do it. Charles didn't change, though. He fell more deeply in love with Camilla. Then in 1992, the press learned that Charles and Camilla had a private phone call. Everyone was shocked. People all over the world heard about Camilla Gate, the event that leaked private information about their relationship. Camilla, who was still married to Andrew Parker Bowles, got a lot of attention, and Charles's reputation took a big hit. At the event, Charles did not run away. Instead, he faced it head on. An author named Jonathan Dimbleby asked him on TV the question that everyone was dying to know. Had he been honest with Diana at first? Charles said that he had been until their marriage was too broken to fix. But Diana had her own story to tell. People know her from an interview she did with BBC's Panorama in 1995. She told the truth about her marriage and her pain in a way that everyone could hear. She told you that it was a turning point that you will always remember. The story was not true. The world now knew the truth about Diana's broken heart, how strong she was, and the fights she had had behind closed doors. What a shocking split. Things went from bad to worse when Prince Charles finally said it. Camilla's husband, Andrew Parker Bowles, soon told everyone that they were divorcing. This kind of sad news made things worse. That was what it turned out to be after 2 years of not living together. Camilla and Andrew's wedding made people wonder if Charles and Diana's wedding was next. As news spread that they were having problems in their marriage, more problems arose. This time, it was about Diana. There was talk that she was dating Army Captain James Hewitt, and it was said that they were together from 1986 to 1989. Some people thought she went to Hewitt because Charles had lied to her. Many people thought the marriage was ending because of lies and hurt feelings. Then, on December 9th, 1992, the day came that everyone had been excited about. At the time, John Major was Prime Minister. He told the House of Commons that Prince Charles and Princess Diana were broken up. He told everyone that they were no longer together, but would still raise their children, Prince William and Prince Harry, together. Even Queen Elizabeth agreed with the plan. People thought they had seen the last of Charles and Diana together when something went wrong. When the Battle of the Atlantic was 50 years old on May 30th, 1993, they both went to a service together. As they got off the royal yacht Britannia, they looked calm and almost happy. The last time they were seen together in public was at Christmas the year before, when Diana joined the royal family at Sandringham for a tradition. They were seen together again, and many people asked, was there still hope for reconciliation? Diana and Charles went their different ways after they broke up. Diana did everything she could to help people. She fought for things that were important to her in hospitals so she could speak in public better. She worked with voice teacher Peter Sett. Charles also kept up with his royal duties by attending events and spreading the word about the throne at home and abroad. Then it had to happen. They told each other they were splitting up. It was hard to talk for a long time. They paid off their bills and talked about who would take care of their boys at St. James's Palace at the beginning of 1996. They fought over their divorce for 4 months before it was finalized on July 15, 1996. On August 28th, the court records were made public. Their 15-year marriage, which was the news of the decades, was over. Diana had a lot of different feelings about her breakup. She might have felt free, but she also had to deal with sadness and doubt. But she told Sir Robert Fellows, her brother-in-law, about the mental weight she was carrying when no one was around. The details of Diana's deal were made public right away. Even though she wasn't called Her Royal Highness, she would always be linked to the royal family as Princess of Wales. A lot of people had different ideas about taking away the title. The Queen wasn't sure, but Charles pushed on it. After the deal, Diana's money was saved. She got a lump sum of $22.00 in cash, $5 million 0 cents, plus $600,000 0 cents a year to help her run her office and do charity work. She kept her home at Kensington Palace, could fly on royal planes, and held parties at St. James's Palace after the money ran out in September 1996. There were no longer any official ties between her and the royal family, but there were still some links. Diana was safe because the government set up her flights and she kept the gold from her marriage. This let her start her new life without any issues. Her story wasn't over yet, though. Diana's new life, Princess Diana began a new part of her life with the same strength and beauty she always had. She saw getting divorced as a chance to start over, discover who she was, and live her own unique life. She was ready to start a new story with meaning, love, and desire now that she wasn't a princess. But people were still keeping a close eye on her private life. She fell in love again after getting divorced. This time it was with the famous heart and lung expert, Dr. Hasn't. They didn't tell anyone about their relationship beginning in September 1995 for 2 years. People who knew her thought he was her true love because she called him Mr. Wonderful, but the news made them feel bad. Khan was too shy to handle all the attention. In the end, their love wasn't strong enough to handle all the attention, so they broke up alone. While Diana was dealing with her broken heart, rumors began to spread. Oliver is a married art collector, and some people said she was connected to him. She denied it. Some people thought she might have been connected to Will Carling, a rugby player, and Theodore J. Forsman, an investor, but there wasn't much proof for this. What made her relationship with Dodi Fayed different from her quiet love with Khan was that it was very public. Dodi, who made movies and is the son of the rich Mohammed Al Fayed, paid Diana a lot of attention. Everywhere there were press cameras, so everyone could see what they did. In the summer of 1997, things changed. So that he could get away from all the press, Dodi asked Diana to come to his family's fancy home in the south of France. In their own paradise, they were at peace for a while. Even though they were rich, they couldn't hide. There was always press following them. They finally decided to go to Paris as the last chance to get away from everyone. On the night of August 31st, 1997, a terrible thing took place. Diana, Dodi, and their driver, Henri Paul, was going 121 m, which is very fast. They crashed in the dark Pont de l'Alma tunnel. The drunk driver lost control because cameras kept following them. In a moment, everything changed. When everyone heard that Diana, the people's princess, had died, they were shocked. It was said that Diana and Charles might get back together at the time of the crash. A few weeks ago, on her 35th birthday, Charles showed up at Kensington Palace out of the blue. They had a great time together. She told her she thought he was there to take back her furniture, which made her laugh. It was nice to remember the good old days when they drank tea together. But on that night in Paris, any dreams that were still living died. The sadness, there was a lot of sadness. The Queen was very upset. Charles had to get his kids up early in the morning to tell them the bad news. There was sadness in the royal family. Their main site went dark and only had a picture of Diana and her birth and death dates. A virtual sorrow book lets people share their sadness. All 4 of the royal family wore black to church on Sunday at Crathie Kirk, which is close to Balmoral Castle. They were truly moved by the huge amount of love from the people. People who were sad walked around outside of Kensington Palace with the princes, who read messages from people, who felt like they had lost a friend. Then on September 5th, Charles took his boys back to London. They didn't mean to, but they did stop at the flower field outside of Kensington Palace. People who loved Diana left a lot of flowers, letters, and lights at the spot where she died. That same day, the Queen also came back from Balmoral. After giving a rare TV speech, she went to see the flower displays outside of Buckingham Palace. Anyone who heard her words knew how much they meant to her. They were sad and respectful. Diana's funeral was the first of its kind in history. There were famous people, normal people, and big names there to say goodbye. A lot of people around the world were sad and thought about what if it wasn't just for royal people. Many people were very interested in what Prince Charles wore to the funeral, even though it was a clear sign of how troubled his relationship was with the woman. Most people wore black suits, but Charles wore a blue one. Some people didn't agree with his choice, but others thought it was a beautiful way to honor Diana and remember her free spirit. Her body was laid to rest in a small service that afternoon. Charles, William, Harry, her mother, brothers, a close friend, a priest, and other people she was close to got together for a last goodbye. Kay Walker made her black dress with long arms, which she had chosen a long time ago. Mother Teresa had given her a rosary to hold. On an island in the peaceful grounds of Althorp Park, where Diana grew up, she is laid to rest. There is peace there, away from the chaos in her life. Her story didn't end there. The world has changed because of Diana, even after she died. She made the royal family different and changed what it meant to be a princess today. Many people also had new ideas about love, kindness, and giving. There was more to her than just being a princess. She stood for bravery, kindness, and humanity. Diana was the princess of the people, and she died too soon, but people will always remember her. A lot of people didn't like how the royal family stuck to royal rules so closely after Princess Diana died. It was thought by many that they were too focused on rules and didn't show how they felt, especially since they kept Diana's kids, Prince William and Prince Harry, out of the public eye while they were sad. The fact that Buckingham Palace wouldn't take down the royal standard flag was one of the main issues. In the past, this flag was only flown when the king was there. Since the Queen was in Scotland at the time, it stayed at full. The palace said that the royal standard stays up all the time to show that the government will keep going even after a new master takes over. However, the Union flag was lowered to half-mast when the Queen went to Westminster Abbey for Diana's funeral. This was done because the people really wanted it that way. Things were different after this choice. The Union flag is now flown at half-mast whenever the leader is not in the country during a national tragedy. It was also said that things were tense behind closed doors. Some news sources say that Prince Charles and Sir Robert Fellowes, who was the Queen's private secretary and was related to Diana, had a fight about how to run the service. It is said that Fellowes agreed with the Queen that the event should be less public. Charles, on the other hand, wanted a big public service. In the end, though, Buckingham Palace said these reports were not true. Also, people had different ideas about whether Diana's title of Her Royal Highness should be brought back to life after she died. Some people thought that was a good way to remember her, but Diana's family said no because they had talked to the royal family and knew she wouldn't want that title back. In the end, there was never a formal ask made. The country will never be the same after these events. They showed that a lot of people cared about Diana and wanted the royal family to change with the times. Charles finds the love of his life. King Charles and Queen Camilla had a hard time falling in love. The trip had its ups and downs. Before they got married on April 9, 2005, they had been together for 35 years. 2 months after telling everyone in February of that year that they were going to get married, they did. They got married at Windsor Guildhall, which is close to Windsor Castle. It was a small and simple ceremony. They had both been married before, so it wasn't a big royal wedding. It was a service to the public instead. Only 28 people showed up, so it was a small but important event. Crown Prince William and Crown Prince Harry, as well as Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopes, were among them. They are the children of Camilla. They went to St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle to have Dr. George Carey, Archbishop of Canterbury, blessed them after they said their vows. Rowan Williams. It was a big deal because it was the beginning of their new life together. There was something different about Camilla's wedding dress that made it stand out. She wore 2 beautiful hats instead of a tiara. The dress was made of white silk chiffon. She wore a coat that matched and a stylish Philip Treacy hat on top of it. After a while, she changed into a lovely blue and gold embroidered coat that she wore over a loose blue silk dress. Treacy had also made her a gold feather headpiece that she wore. Their wedding didn't have any big shows or royal traditions. After all these years, it was just them, their love, and being together. Hugo Bernheim was picked by Charles and Camilla to take pictures at their wedding. Bernheim was a well-known photographer who was known for going to important royal events to take pictures. Still, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip did not show up to the legal wedding. Hope was easy to understand. It didn't seem right for the Queen, who was head of the Church of England, to be at the formal wedding of two people who had been apart. There was still backing from her and Prince Philip, who went to St. George's Chapel for a religious blessing and then had a party at Windsor Castle. The Queen told Camilla that she liked her before she died. In February 2022, when she was 70 years old, she said she hoped people would support Charles and Camilla when he became king. To respect Camilla's service, she also wanted to be called Queen Consort. There were only 28 people at the legal wedding at Windsor Guildhall. They were Charles and Camilla's children. Tom Prince William and Camilla's son was one of the people who saw the wedding. Charles's brothers, Princess Anne, Prince Andrew, and Prince Edward, also went. One show Tom was on in April 2023 talked about his mother. He said that she had no plans to become queen. He told her that her rise to the throne wasn't planned. She married the man she loved because her heart told her to. They really understand each other now that they've been married for almost 20 years. Several sources say Charles spent $3.00, $9 million on a plot of land next to Ray Milhouse, Camilla's home. Camilla told him that the house would be hers only before they got married. The royal lady goes there to spend time with her children and grandchildren during the summer and on weekends. Queen Camilla really values having her own space. She can live a simpler life at Ray Milhouse, where she doesn't have to deal with security checks or full-time staff. Many people would like this.